Hello guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be using the Evocation type spells for Iron Spells spellbooks. The first spell we're going to use is Chain Creeper. When you use Chain Creeper on a creeper, or anything really, you have to target the enemy and it's a big explosion of free creepers that comes out of a target. If they kill anything, like any creature, it does it again. Obviously this effect can chain permanently. The next spell is Fang Strike. When you use Fang Strike, it does a line of Evoker Fangs to attack your target. Very high damage. The next spell is Gust. When you use Gust, it pushes your enemies very far away. I'd recommend using higher elevation, because if you try to use it on the floor, the friction is going to drag them. The next spell is Firecracker. When you use Firecracker, you have to look wherever you're looking, it does a firework explosion there. It does a certain amount of damage and can be changed. It's not a projectile, so when you're looking at something, a projectile doesn't fly to your target, it just does it wherever the block or entity you're looking at. The next spell is Fang Ward. When you use Fang Ward, a bunch of Fang spikes come around, but except it's a circle around you. The next spell is Lob Creeper. When you use Lob Creeper, you throw a little creeper head to fly in arc. If you land it on the floor, it still does damage and knockback. The next spell is Shield. When you use Shield, it summons a blue shield to just stand where you're looking at. Shield blocks projectiles and they can't go by. It also blocks spells. If the shield's HP breaks or goes too little, it breaks. The shield has a certain amount of HP depending on what level it is. The higher the level, the more HP it has. At the lowest level is 18.4 HP, which is a decent amount, but obviously could be better. The next spell is Invisibility. When you use Invisibility, you go 100% invisible. Nothing can see you, or at least they won't attack you. I guess you can see me. Even if you have armor on, true invisibility makes sure even armor is invisible. The next spell is Spectral Hammer. When you use Spectral Hammer, what happens is it mines out a big chunk of stone, or any mineable block. When you mine it, all the blocks drop on the floor. You can pick them back up. Spectral Hammer does more area depending on what level it is. So the higher the level, the more area. The next spell is Summon Horse. When you use Summon Horse, it spawns a horse that you can ride around. If you want the horse to go away, reuse the spell and it go away. The next spell is Summon Vex. When you use Summon Vex, it summons free Vex to fight for you. If there's an aggressive enemy nearby, they fly towards it, just like normal Vex behavior. The next spell is Slow. When you use Slow on an enemy, it just gives them slowness. That's really it. The higher this level, the more slowness and the longer it lasts. The next spell is Arrow Volley. When you use Arrow Volley, you have to target an enemy and a bunch of arrows fall from the sky and land on them. The higher the level, the more arrows and damage. The next spell is Throw. When you use Throw, if you're holding, let's say for example, a Neverite Sword, since a Neverite Sword is 8 attack damage, if you are holding it, look, 1.6 plus 8 is 9.6. It will do 9.6 damage now. And I throw it at the enemy. That's it for evocation spells, and if I were to put evocation spells in a ranking, I'll put evocation spells in number 3. The reason why is because the spell cost is very little. Basically no mana is used, even at highest levels. Very easy spells to use, very simple, like Summon Horse or Spectral Mine. Shield, some spell like Arrow Volley is so good for AoE, just like Fang Strike and Fang Ward. Firecracker is such a low cooldown that you can spam it. That's why I'm putting it at number 3. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and I'll see you next time.